Good afternoon, everyone. Story sneaking under the radar because of the Suez Canal blockage. Archegos collapse. It's almost double what took down Bear Stearns in the subprime financial crisis. So whatever's coming is going to dwarf that period of 2009 to 11. D-Day scenes stacking up as bottlenecks in global shipping continue. That's why they're expecting a tidal wave of insurance claims. So many payouts, in fact, that it's going to hit global reinsurers' earnings. Absurdity, another ship goes awry, this time blocking waterways in the UK, which makes this statement of products and services being significantly impacted by labor shortages, raw material shortages, delays, and transit interruptions a perfect excuse for the Great Reset. But don't worry, the global community will be there to catch you when you fall. One global governance, it's the only solution. The Biden administration and Democrats in Congress are wasting no time in their efforts to reset the direction of America's future. The Wall Street Journal estimates that of the $1.7 trillion stimulus bill, only $825 billion was directly related to COVID, and it's estimated that 2021 will include another $3 trillion in stimulus money printing, bringing the total to $6.3 trillion in 2020 and 2021 alone. And that's why you'll instantly understand when Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs both say it's the time to buy gold. It's time to heed that advice. Patriot Gold Group has the no-fee-for-life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold and silver, and you may be eligible for the no-fee-for-life IRA. So go ahead and give the folks at Patriot Gold Group a call to discuss physical gold and silver. And the knowledge that Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer 5 years in a row from 2016 until present. Click the link in the description box below for more information. And now on with the video. And scenes emerging from either side of the Suez Canal, looking like D-Day ships stacked up for miles. Huge bottlenecks still remain. Rosy news of an instant fix and your goods reaching the ports is going to ripple through availability of your products for months to come. Quoted in an article I read, if you need lawn furniture this summer, buy it now. And to add another level of strangeness in the chapter of the Ever Given defying physics, another ship breaks off tether, blocking waterways, this time in the UK, Sussex. 260-foot cargo ship drifting around 300 feet, becoming stuck in the muddy riverbed. 2.0. I wonder how long it's going to take before this type of event becomes a thing, because one single blockage causes so much disruption. And speaking of disruptions, the tidal wave of insurance claims coming in over the next few months may very well bankrupt or put massive dents into global reinsurers' earnings, pulling out yet another cube in the Jenga financial avalanche on the way. I'm still of the volition that Ever Given was the sign and is going to be the trigger for the Great Reset. New financial system inbound. Because while all of that was happening and so many eyes were diverted into the mentally trying to refloat the Ever Given, under the radar, the largest margin call since the collapse of Bear Stearns during the subprime crisis of 2008-9 only made financial news headlines. Nowhere else did it appear. But now what's interesting is JP Morgan's doubling its max loss estimate and the Archegos collapse. And that $10 billion is still under calculation. They're expecting it to rise even further. But the scariest takeaway from this is Archegos was only leveraged 5 to 8x. So many other funds are leveraged far higher than that, 20, 30, 50, 100x. And it's causing this much chaos on a 5x leverage. And just like we saw with the bundled subprime mortgages, these total return swaps are having a very difficult time becoming unintertwined. So keep your eyes on this story as it evolves. And when we look at the monetary stimulus percentage of GDP, this dwarfs anything from the subprime financial crisis. So indeed, if there's another call for injection, all it's going to do is take us into hyperinflation. And you're seeing your buying power eroding day by day on the goods you can buy with those greenbacks. And this chart will show you exactly where all that printed money from the Fed is making its way right into the hands of the top 1%. As the bottom 90% continue to decline, the top 1% in the stock portfolios and managers, hedge funds, company buybacks, CEOs, CFOs, CIOs continue to accrue wealth. And to break it down in a little bit different terms right here from the Federal Reserve itself, total wealth by category. This is in trillions. You see that red line at the bottom? That's half of the population. 2.5 trillion. The top 10%, 85 trillion. So the more they print, the higher that green line goes. Because that fallacy of trickle-down effect and stimulus that'll make it to Main Street when Main Street's closed, just a wealth transfer. Now, case in point, how things are getting so precariously close to this great reset, and your food's going to be affected, and that's the whole reason I'm going into the economy side of here. Food and supply chains. Bring those calories to your belly. When that's disrupted, you're on your own. But just like we saw in the repo market breaking at the end of 2019 with the Federal Reserve putting in $100 billion per night to keep the illusion going until the capital injections could be nonstop with COVID, now we got the Treasury injecting a record at $271 billion in cash in one day. Like we're seeing in Europe with these negative interest rates. Here, these short-term rates are negative, so you have to pay the government to actually hold a bond now. Unthinkable that you would go to a negative rate here in the United States, but it's already happened. So what's next? Well, just like in Europe, the negative rates are going to continue to go deeper from 0.1% to 1% to 5%. It'll be the opposite. Instead of the government paying you to hold the bond, you're going to have to pay the government to hold their bonds. So what's coming next for the regular savings account? What, are you going to have to pay the bank to keep your money in there? Apparently so, because that's what happened in Europe. And Bank of America's chief investment officer coming out trying to explain these flow charts and flow of goods across the planet. And basically the worldwide supply chain is broken at the moment or holding on by tatters, duct tape, and baling wire. All products and services are now significantly impacted by increasing prices, money printing, inflation, shortages of labor and raw materials, escalating raw material prices, manufacturing delays due to the constriction of supply chains, unavailability of goods, as well as these transit interruptions. This is the perfect recipe for the Great Reset here. And so many variables are dovetailing into the effects of our own lives, but these warnings were given to the real estate industry, the very last, leg of propping up the economy. Real estate prices going to the moon, but now they're saying, well, you might buy the land and have a house on it, but there's very little possibility of getting the materials you need to remodel or build. That might be the very last piece that collapses the Jenga tower. But don't worry, the global community will be right there with velvet gloves to catch you. Revalue your hard-earned dollars 10 to 1, 50 to 1, or 100 to 1 as we move toward a global governance system. And they state it, 24 world leaders call for more globalism. The puppets say that nobody is safe until everybody is safe. Well, that sounds like a call to dismantle every military across the globe. And more heartfelt words from the puppets. We must seize this opportunity to come together as a global community, one world governance system for peaceful cooperation, extending beyond this crisis right into your everyday life. well beyond what's mandated right now. It's going to require sustained political, financial, sustained, never-ending money printing, financial, global system, reset. And you could read your own deciphering into societal commitments, whatever agenda that is labeled as now. You can see it coming toward us. That water has already receded off the beach. Those first waves are about to hit the shoreline. And you are going to want to think about storable foods in case you cannot get to the stores. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030, the 2-week or the 4-week emergency food supply. They also have 1 month, 6 month, and 1 year packages, Mylar packs, oxygen packs in case you want to put your own food supplies together for longer term storage. That link's in the description box below. It's a great way to support this channel to bring you more research, as well as all the links for the charts tonight and stories so you can continue to follow the rabbit trail wherever it takes you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.